Hey, it's Ken Lewis. Welcome to Mixing Night. Today I'm going to show you how to get your 808 heavy mixes loud. Let's talk RMS targets. It's really what this is all about. RMS is root mean squared. It's a really complicated way of saying the average or perceived volume. Basically, how loud the end listener perceives your song. So for instance, if they hear your song on a playlist on Spotify or Apple Music next to, the song before it, your song, the song after it, how loud do the songs before and after yours sound, and how does yours compare? So we want to make sure that we're right in where we're supposed to be, not too loud, but also not too soft, not distorted, and the 808s are the main drivers of RMS. So I'm going to show you how to carefully balance your 808s in your mix so that you don't have so much that you're driving too much RMS into distortion or so little that the mix is really loud but it doesn't have enough sub content. This is on my mix bus in series. It's the FabFilter Pro L2, and then the Slate, I'm only using it as a meter. You can see it's in bypass. On the Slate meter, we're looking for a finished RMS of about -8, -7s, but about -8 is a good target. So I'm going to push up the gain on the FabFilter Pro L2 until I get to about a -8 RMS on the Slate. And let's see what that sounds like. Got no filter, go check on my bank account. I know the feds out here staking out. This isn't nothing to play about. I see they sweating, they been losing bets on me trying to figure my flavor out. I come from nothing, I made it out. Running the streets like a paper route. I've been on. Okay, so about +7.4 on the gain gets me to about a -8 overall RMS on my mix bus. All right, now let me show you what happens when you don't have your 808 balances right. If you've got way too much 808 in your mix, you're going to drive your RMS much too hard, or your perceived volume is just going to be too low. So I'll show you both extremes here. Let me turn up the 808 from where it's balanced here at 0. Let me push it up to -6 or +6, and you can see how it affects RMS. Got no filter, go check on my bank account. I know the feds out here staking out. This isn't nothing to play about. See, pushing the 808 up by only 6 dB got me already into the -3s on RMS. So we were at -8s and -7s. Now we're at -4s and -3s, which is way too loud. Mastered volume with an 808 heavy track is going to be -8 to 7. So 3 and 4s, just distorted, way too over loud. Nobody wants to hear that. So you can solve this in one of two ways. You could turn your 808 back down, but if you didn't know that the 808 was the problem and you just turned your mix bus down to compensate, listen to how much lower the overall perceived volume of my mix bus gets when I turn this slider down from the +7.4 gain until we hit another average RMS of -8. Again, we're hitting -3s and -4s right now. So let me see how much I have to turn it down in order to match the previous RMS. Got no filter, go check on my bank account. I know the feds out here staking out. This isn't nothing to play about. I see they sweating, they been losing bets on me trying to figure my flavor out. I come from nothing, I made it out. Running the streets like a paper route. I've been on. I've got this turned down to +0.8. So it was at 7.4 and now it's at 0.8 for the exact same RMS. So I lost 6 dB of perceived mix bus volume because my 808 was turned up too loud. Let me show you what happens when you don't have enough 808 in your mix, which can be very enticing because you can get your perceived volume much louder, but then you don't have that weight. So let me go back to the 7.4 and the normal 808 level, and let me start pulling the 808 down 6 dB, and let's see what happens to the RMS now. Got no filter, go check on my bank account. I know the feds out here staking out. This isn't nothing to play about. I see they sweating, they been losing bets on me trying to figure my flavor out. I come from nothing, I made it out. All right, we're down to -11, -12, maybe some -10s. Down from 7s and 8s. So we're at least down 3 or 4 dB on the RMS by turning the 808 alone down 6 dB. So what I'm trying to show you here is how radically you affect the overall volume of your mix bus simply with your 808. It is the #1 driver of mix bus RMS. You know, your kick drums are too, but they're momentary. They hit and they're gone. But the 808 is sustained, so it's always pushing that low frequency through all the time. And that's going to increase your RMS levels. So you need to find that nice balance between nice big 808s, but enough perceived volume on your mids and your highs that your mix sounds big and well balanced. Now that the 808 is pulled down and you can see I'm at -11, -12 on the RMS, now let me push the gain up on the Pro L2 and I can see how loud I can get the overall mix by achieving the same -8 RMS with my 808 turned down too low. Here we go.
Be with it, my dog got no filter, go check on my bank account. I know the feds out here staking out. This isn't nothing to play about. I see they sweating, they been losing bets on me trying to figure my flavor out. I come from nothing, I made it.
Okay, so we have about 11.8 here. So it was 7.4, now I'm up 4.5 dB from my original level. That roughly means that my perceived mix volume, how loud my end listener hears it, sounds about 4 dB louder than where my 808 is balanced. But if you put this next to a Post Malone or a Drake song or something like that, you probably wouldn't have as much 808 as their song does. So if you want to compete sonically with what they've got going on, then you need to make sure that your 808s are roughly the same volumes in your finished mix as theirs. And all of the other perceived elements in your mix are also, you know, the vocals are roughly comparable, the highs, the hi-hats, and all of that. So this is all a balancing act between how much low end, how much you want to drive your RMS, where you want to set your targets, and how loud you want your end listener to perceive your mix. So I know this is a lot to think about. It's crazy confusing, but I think if you spend some time with it and do your own tests to see how this stuff reacts on your own, you're going to lock it into your brain and you'll be able to utilize these techniques and understand them for yourself. All right, these have been 2 great tips for you to make your own 808 heavy mixes nice and loud. Trust me, it took me a long time to solve these issues myself, but these 2 main things I think are going to really help you a lot. It's been Ken Lewis with Mixing Night. Please like and subscribe to the channel. All of that stuff really helps, and I will see you on the next video.
I've been on bleed for way too long. Running on E while I live life wrong. 100 on me, but it won't last long. 100 on me, but it won't last long. Man, it's new school weed, it way too strong. Double flip 400 off a flip phone. 100 on me, but it won't last long. 100 on me, but it won't last long.